Put God first.
So you want to be a coder, you want to be a developer, you want to be the person who creates the next big website or app. You want to create the next Instagram or the next Snapchat or the next Facebook or even the next YouTube. You want to change careers, you want to change the way you do work. You want to change the fact that you work in a 9 to 5 or you're working to help somebody else's dreams become a reality. You want to work on your own dreams. So what's holding you back? Why haven't you become a master coder yet? Why haven't you started learning how to code? Why haven't you taken the time to fully understand the syntax of some of the most easiest languages and then build your way up to the tougher ones?
One of the hardest things when you're trying to affect change is that people like this gentleman are right in some areas. I'm sure that there are some things OpenDoc does, probably even more that I'm not familiar with, that nothing else out there does. And I'm sure that you can make some demos, maybe a small commercial app that demonstrates those things. The hardest thing is, how does that fit in to a cohesive, larger vision that's going to allow you to sell $8 billion, $10 billion of product a year?
So when I first became a software developer, I got my first job, and I put a lot of pressure on myself in that situation to learn as much as I could in a short period of time. Because not only did I want to stay hired, because I was on like a 3-month contract where they could let me go at the end of the contract for any reason. So it was kind of like a test run to make sure that I was decent as a developer. Anyhow, so there was a lot of pressure on me, and in those early days, I just showed up for work for my 8 hours, stayed late if I needed to, worked on the weekends, worked after work. I just put a lot of time in. I know the one true thing about success in general is that if you spend the time doing anything, you will get better at it, right? So my one paradigm was that if I just put my butt in the chair and sat there and stared at the code, that I'll get better. I just put my trust in that. I put my trust in that process.
I'd like to finish up by saying what I'd like to do in the future. First of all, I'd like to create more apps, more games. I'm working with a third-party company to make an app. I'd like to get into Android programming and development. And I'd like to continue my app club and find other ways for students to share knowledge with others. Thank you.
Okay, good everybody, and okay, I think I made a mistake here. This is meant to be 12, and this is meant to be 13. Yeah, 12 and 13. Okay, good everyone, and welcome to Connekt Academy, day 12 and day 13. Okay, this thing has actually not been nice, and because of I've recorded this video over and over again, and there was something that happened. It didn't record because of 1 or 2 issues I had that time. So it was very hard for me it's very stressful for me to keep on recording one particular thing every time, and that's why it was actually frustrating, so I had to post it. And okay, in essence, what I'm just trying to say is that I'm actually apologizing for not releasing this particular video on time. So many people have requested for it, and I did not. Okay, so that's by the way. And Okay, so welcome to Connekt Academy day 12 on 13. Before this video started, I played for you guys, for you girls, a video. Actually, that video is what used to inspire me. It's actually is you can also use it to inspire yourself. I know maybe most of you don't believe in motivational videos, but even me too, I'm like that. But sometimes it's necessary. There are some that they are actually worth it when you listen to it. You understand? And whatever the video I played, whatever I said is actually true, because me, I've actually experienced some things there. You understand? And so it's a way to motivate you. Continue coding. The results at the other side is marvelous, is wonderful, and is something nice. Okay, come on, let me close something. Okay, so I'm jumping in. Okay, so what we have today is modifiers, defining your own class, data members, constructors, and methods. Please, I need you to pay a very close attention. I don't know how much time I've already spent here. I need you to pay a very close attention to whatever I'm going to teach today. It's very necessary you listen very, very well to whatever I'm saying. Please, because this is like another journey of programming entirely. It's not maybe whereby it's not just because of me, it's not those numerical things you have been doing, maybe 3 plus 2 or assigning, or this is like for any programmer you must know this. And this is one of the major things you must know, and it's actually what you're going to work with in programming. You can see that every second I'm checking whether what I'm saying is recording, because I don't want to be embarrassed again like the other times. So today what we are doing is modifiers, defining your own classes, data members, constructors, and methods. Now is we're treating how to create all these stuffs, and I did it 12 and 13. That means the video is going to be longer, because the day I taught the class I did it 12 and 13. I can remember very well for those who attended the class. You understand? So before I continue, you should just you can pause the video and stare at this code. You guys can remember this code actually, because I think in our day 7 we did something like this, and we ran it and it produced an application of this. So I needed to look at this code very, very, but remember that here we didn't define these classes, this frame. We borrowed it, we used it like a programmer defined it, and we used it, and we used the methods he created. We use everything he created and ran the program for us to give us this interface. So now what we're going to do is that we're going to define our own, so that another programmer, like we're going to create our own class. This JFrame is a class, but now we're going to create our own class, so that maybe another programmer can now borrow our own and use it. I don't know if you're actually getting me. Like we're going to be like we're going to create our own methods that can work with the class, and create our own data members, create our own class that another user or another programmer can use to maybe do what he wants to do. Okay, so this is just the steps on writing a program. This is just general steps. This is what we use. This is like a project structure of what we used in our day 7 to write our programs. You have where you write the comments, which is not necessary. Go if you don't know what comment is, go to your day 11. You'll see what comments are. The import statements, you know what import statements are. You go to this is import statement. This is import statement, and we did it in our last in day 11 too. And the class, now class is class name. Now class is this thing here, this class here, and we have our public static void main, and we have the method bodies, and this is our public static void main, and these are the method bodies. So it's just like a project structure on how to, or wants to guide you. If you have never crammed it, like on how to guide you to write your own programming to write your own programs, Okay, so before we continue, we have to touch this thing called public and private. Now, if you're with your jota, you have to go get your book and hear what I'm saying, please. It's not just something you just leave. Now, what are public and what are private things in programming? What are they? Okay, what are public and what are private things in programming? Okay, now in a layman understanding, if you say public you mean general. Private, it means something you don't want to share with anybody. And this layman meaning is not like it applies even in programming. Public are the codes that you want people to see. You want everybody to see. Anybody in this world can use it. Any program can use it. Anything can use it. Then private are they're the things that only you want to know about. Let me say there's a code that only you want to know about. Like, it can't be accessed by everybody. You understand? You don't want it to be accessed by everybody. You have these two things now. They are called modifiers. Public, is a modifier, like it's just their general code modifiers, public, private, and we have like 3 others, but those ones are not necessary now. You understand? Everything is step by step. So just know that all these things they are called modifiers. We have public, we have private. I've explained for you what public, I've told you what private is. We also have another one that you want only specific people to see. You don't want everybody to see, but you want some particular persons, some particular programs, to some particular classes to use it. Do you understand? But it's not every class, or it's not every program that you want to use it. They have modifiers like that, and so on and so forth. But the one that is important now is public and private. So if I say a class is public, it means that another programmer can, as he or she is writing his own class or his own program, he can borrow your class, because your class is you declared your class public. So him or she can borrow your own class. I give you an example. This JFrame class that we used, is a public. What's happening to my system again? Okay, I give an example. This JFrame class that we used in the beginning is a public class. Like this JFrame class now that we're seeing here, this one that we're seeing is a public class. Like when the programmer was defining it, he declared it as public. That's why we are able to use it. If he declared it as private, we will not be able to access it. Do you understand? We will not be able to use it. The moment we type it in our system, the computer will be telling us error. Do you understand? But since he made it public, he told the computer, okay, computer, declare it. Anybody can use this class that I'm creating. So that's why we're able to use it. Now this class now is called a system. It's called a system class. It's not a, like how, like, I taught you guys we have system defined class, we have programmer defined class. Programmer defined class are the ones that we ourselves define, we as programmers define. The system defined class are classes that the Java developers themselves defined. Though it's not as if the system will define it, but like programmers in Java, programmers that made Java. Me and you are programmers, but we're not the one that made Java. So that's why any other class we define is called a programmer defined class. But system defined class are the ones that, those people that made Java, any class that they defined, they are called system defined class. So these ones now, this JFrame now is a system defined class, but it's a human being that defined it now. But it's grouped under system defined class. So as I was saying, public and private. Public, I've told you what public and I've told you what private things are. This does not only apply to classes, it also applies to methods. You can, as you're creating your methods, you can give some methods public, you can give some methods private. Private methods, you don't want any other, you don't want anybody now that is using that your class to access such method, or you want them to access such method. You can make it public or private. So even if you make your class, if you make your class now public and you make some of your methods private, the programmer, me and you, I can use that your class, but there are some methods that I cannot use because he made them what, private. Do you understand? But now there are also some in that program that I can use because you made those methods public. But I don't think you can't make a method. You can't make a class private and you come and make a method public. I don't think it's possible. And or for your level now, it's not visible. I don't think I've not encountered such. Do you understand? Because the question is, how will you be able to use that method since you don't even have access to the class? Since you don't even have access to the class. Okay, that's by the way. So let's keep going. Now we have class bicycle. We have class bicycle. We have string owner name. We have bicycle. We have we wrote this. Is just look at this code, just look at it very well. You can see data member, you can see constructors, you can see this is a class. This is a class that was defined by me. Then the class has owner name, it has this is a constructor, this is a method. You will still learn all these things. This is a method. So now we're going to show you how to do such. You can do your own. You understand? We're going to show you how to declare such. Now remember when we're talking about methods and banks, and when we're like the method will be sent to this bank class, and for deduction of amount or credits or for your account to be credited, the method goes to the class and the class executes what the method tells it to do, or you send it to an object and the object executes it. Remember when we're doing such, we did such. I can remember maybe that was during our early classes of programming, we did such something like that. And even even in that our last class, we were like when we're designing that app, that small interface app, we were like my window.setVisible.setThrough. I mean this JFrame that we did, you saw when we passed methods to it and for it to execute some instructions for us, maybe for it to get the size of the window that we're creating, or to set the title for us, and so on and so forth. Now that was like the layman explanation. Now when we send method, it just goes to the object and the object executes it for us. That is like a layman. Now what actually happens is that, now if you look at this diagram, you can see this is the class, these are the data members, these are the constructors. Now first of all, you may be like, what are data members? Now data members are like properties of a class. Every class must have a data member. Do you understand? Every class must have a data. For that class to be useful, it has to have a data member. I've not seen any class without a data member. It must have a data member. Do you understand? Just like you now that is called John, or you now that is called Dominic, or you now that is called I don't know you people's names very well, but Uchechi, I know Olebube, I know everybody self. But just imagine, take you as yourself. Okay, let me see, now you're Jeff and you are a class. Do you understand? You are a class, and inside you have properties. You are fair. Fairness is your property. You have you are tall. Tallness is your property. You have big legs, small legs. All those things are properties of you as a human being. So now those are like the data members of yourself, which is a class. You can be like, okay, what are other properties, or what are Uchechi's properties, or what are, like, just those your properties. Your hair, maybe the color of your hair, whether it's black or white, your complexion, or your, just all those things. Do you understand? And another example of another thing is that maybe you are creating a class called shoe, and what are the data members of that shoe? What are the properties of that shoe? The color of the shoe, what they use in making the shoe. Is it wool? Is it foam? Is it cotton? All those things are the properties of the shoe. You understand? So that is what is called data member. So every class has a what data member. And now when you send a method to a class or to an object of a class, remember an object of a class is just like an instance of a class, an example of a class, like what comes out of the class. Like for the class to express itself, it has to like bring out objects. Do you understand? That's type of thing. Just take it like that at this stage. Those type of thing. So you send, so you now as a class, if they send a message to you, or let us say in a class now, we send a method to a class or to an object of a class. The method does not just go to the class and the class executes the instructions. No, the method actually goes to the properties of that class inside the class. Do you understand? The method goes to the data members of that class. So now it's data members now that are actually going to contain the instruction being executed. That is exactly what I'm saying. Now, what are constructors? Constructors are like how will I put it now? Constructors are like, if we have constructors, then we have data members. So constructors are like, will I say, let me say now your body now. Let me say your body now. The constructor now is like your soul. Do you understand? Without your body, your soul cannot exist. Or am I getting it well? Okay, no, let us take it in this scenario. The class is your soul and a constructor is your body. Do you understand? Without your body, without the soul, your body cannot exist. Your body is lifeless, like your body is not doing anything. Do you understand? Your body is dead without your soul. But without your body, your soul can still exist. Do you understand? So what I'm trying to not say is that your class is your soul, your body is your constructor. Without your constructor, your class can exist. Your soul can exist, your class can exist. But under some certain conditions. Now we're talking like in programming term now. Do you understand? But now without your class, your constructor cannot exist. So you can't create a constructor whereby there is no class. It's not possible. In programming, it's not possible. But you can create a class and you can put or not put a constructor there. Maybe the system has already, even if you don't put a constructor, maybe the system has already declared the default constructor for you when you're running your applications. Maybe you don't know that type of thing. But I always advise you, so that anytime you have an error, you'll not be thinking of your constructor. Always create a constructor. Anytime you're creating your own class, always create your constructor. Always create the body. Always create the constructor. Is important. Do you understand? Always, so that anytime you have an error in your system, you'll not be thinking, okay, hey, maybe it's my constructor. That type of thing. You understand? And so the method, when you send a method, the method goes to your data member straight. So it's the data member now that has that instructions, or the method can go to your constructor. And why it's going to your constructor is that because you wanted it to go to your constructor. Do you understand? But now the thing is that in the constructor, you can be able to assign, maybe you collect that instruction and you do what that instruction says regarding the data members. So the end point is that any method you try to follow, it must still go to your data member. Do you understand? So if you try to pass method to your constructor, it will still, the constructor will still use your instructions, but the value and everything will still be passed back to the data member. Do you understand? So any way you want to follow, if you want to pass it directly to the data member, or you want to pass it to your constructors, it still end up being in the data member. So anyway, so you might be like, okay, why am I not teaching this thing whereby I know that the endpoint is still your data member? So what's not the use? There is a use. As we're going, you'll see the reason why there are sometimes that you should not pass to your data members. You should pass to your constructor. You should pass the instructions to your constructor. Do you understand? So you actually, in programming, there's reason for everything. There's why they not they not make they not make anything for waste. Also, that's by the way. I hope this thing is still recording. I don't want to be embarrassed, as I said earlier on. Okay, so I've told you guys what constructors are. I've told you guys what constructors are, and that's by the way. So I've told you what data members are. So now the question now is how do we create data members? Which pushes us to the next slide. As I said, I hope you are still listening. I hope you are attentive to what I'm teaching. So how do we create data members? And okay, look at the screen. You can pause this video and look at the screen. This is just like a project structure on how you can define your own classes. How you define your own classes: you create your data members first, you now create your constructors, then you create your methods. This is just like a step-by-step procedure you have to follow. So how do we create our data member? You can write this thing out: modifier list, the data type, and the name. I've taught you guys what modifiers are, public or private. Data type, I've taught you guys what data type are in the earlier videos of this Connekt Academy. We have many data types. We have string, we have int, we have double, we have float, and objects. A class too can be your data type. Do you understand? A class, you can also use your JFrame too, that is a class, can be your data type. It depends on what you are creating. Do you understand? It depends on what you are creating. So all this, they can be your data type too, and a class can be your data type. String is a class, so is a data type. Classes are data types. Int, they are numerical data type, numerical classes. Double float, numerical. We have our boolean too, true or false. They are boolean data types or classes. So, and the name is, you can define anything. Your name is like a variable, anything you want to use to represent that particular data member that you are creating. Do you understand? So I move over to my IntelliJ. Okay, I don't like using, I use IntelliJ to code, but when I'm teaching, I use Sublime Text. Yeah, Sublime Text is because Sublime, if you open IntelliJ, you can bear with me how IntelliJ used to waste time to open ahead. And so I just use Sublime Text to show people what I mean, and just to show you guys what I'm talking about. And but we don't use Sublime Text. Don't use it to code your Java programs. You understand? I just use it for teaching purposes, and I can't even run it here. You understand? I will just show you what the answer is meant to be if you run it to your IntelliJ. Hope you guys don't have any problem using your IntelliJ. Remember, if you have any problem, you can still ask me. Some people do ask me. I can even go as far as doing a video call with you, and you show me your screen and you show me your problem. Okay, that's by the way. And so we start by creating a class. Do you understand? And how do you create a class? In your IntelliJ, you know how to create a class. You know how to create a class. It's just like, you just know how to create a class. Like, is going to the source code, right clicking. I've taught you guys how to do it. Right clicking the source code, enter new, enter class, and you type your class. Now could be anything, and when you type what you want your class to be, you hit the enter key. And when you hit the enter key, IntelliJ creates your class for you. So assuming, let me say you are creating your class now to be maybe you want your class to be, okay, let me use that bicycle now that I did. So if you right click the source code, new, and all those stuffs, your IntelliJ creates your class like this for you. Let me say you put bicycle when it told you to write your class, and this is how it will be. This is exactly how it will be. Or some editors, or even IntelliJ, I forgot it, but it can be like this. They can just create it like this for you, and this is how it will be. And they'll be like anything, you can start typing from here, that type of thing ahead. So this is a class bicycle. This is a class bicycle, and Okay, public class bicycle. Okay, so the next thing, if you looked at that slide very well, remember I said data members, then we have constructors, and we have methods. So now we are doing data members, and I think that the data members are properties. Let me, this is all this I'm writing our comments. Remember, I've taught you how to do comments in the last, so you go to that one. And so data members are what's properties of a class. So so now here, now data members, now in this bicycle, now the data members are the properties of a bicycle. Do you understand? Whatever you want to define. So I think I'm going to remove all this stuff, or I'm going to shift it, because I don't want it to be confusing you people. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to shift it this side, and I'm going to, oh, it's even still going to affect. Okay, so what should I do now? Should I shift it down? Okay, I know what I'm going to do. Okay, I'm going to cut it out of here. I'll paste it somewhere here. Yeah, let it just be down. So everybody now should look here. This is what we are doing. Yeah, so your eye should be here. This is just like a step by step of what we're going to create next. So the first thing is data members. I told you that data members are properties of a class, and from what we saw here, from what we saw from our slide, the syntax for data members are modifiers. Sorry, it's not it. The syntax for data members are, this is the syntax of your data modifier list, data type, and your name, then your semicolon. So it's going to be, so let's comment here and let's write the guide. It said modifier list, then we have the data type, then we have the name. Yeah, file list, data type, then the name. I think I did not miss any other thing again. Okay, yeah. So what are the properties of a bicycle? Bicycles are color. The color of a bicycle is a property. Should I say how many tires? Have you seen any bicycle that has 3 tires? Sure, with the name itself, bicycle, bi means 2, so tire cannot be a property. Or yes, tire can be property, or maybe the colors of the tires too. Okay, so let's just bring tire as a property. Maybe in terms of, will be like maybe okay, let's check another property. Okay, gear. You know, there's some bicycles that has gear, there are some that don't have gear. So that one gear will not be does the bicycle have gear or not? The property of the bicycle. Now, you know, we are creating a class bicycle, so we are creating actually how we want our bicycles to be. You understand that we are creating bicycles. So from this class now, objects of bicycle will emerge. Maybe Ada's bicycle, Obi's bicycle, or maybe LG bicycles or Samsung bicycles. You understand? And if they emerge from this our class, that means whatever we put as our property, each object has to have such embedded in them. So bicycle gear, we have said the color of the bicycle. Bicycles. Okay, let us just put, let me say, let's just take it as cycles in general. You understand? Okay, so let's just put the tires as a property in terms of whether they are two or they are more than two. How many are they? And um okay, I think that's all for now. Or is there any other thing? Okay, baskets, whether it has baskets, how many? Okay, bell, whether it has bell or how many bells does it have? Okay, let us use has how many bells does it have. So I've said the color of the bicycle, the gear, whether it has gear, the how many tires does it has, and or whatnot. So according to how we say we define data types, we first of all we said modifier list, and modifier list now is going to be public or private. I advise you all to, anytime you're writing a data member for a class, make it always private. Make it private. I will tell you why later, but make it private. Your data members, make it private. Don't ever make it public. Making it public could lead to you can people can tamper with your class, or will I say just for security reasons, make it private. So we say private. So we want to start with by create this by saying the color of the bicycle. So okay, and the name of the bicycle, do you understand? Name of the bicycle too, whether you want the bicycle to be, you just give a space for all these things, you understand, any name. And so what do you want the name of the bicycle to be? So let us start with name of the bicycle, do you understand, before we now enter the color. So the public list is what? Private. And data type is what? For what? Because we're talking of bicycle name, so the data type should be string, so we can type the bicycle name in words. And name, we say bicycle, string bicycle, then you put your bicycle name. Data members are meant to be small letter. You beginning with small letter, I mean the name for properties of or data members of a class. Then any word they are using, again you begin with capital letter. So then you put your semicolon. Then the next thing is color, private. For you to be able to write out the color, so the data type will be string. And color, bicycle color, I don't know, is it this spelling or is it this spelling? Teachers now used to confuse us nowadays. We don't even know. No, anyone, I beg, this not the one why I know. Wait, no, this one why I know. So bicycle color. Okay, the next thing is does the bicycle have a what did I want to say now? Is it bell? I was saying there was something I said. Does it have? Is it bell? Whether it has a bell or not? Okay, gear. Yeah, gear. So private. Now, does it has a gear? Yes or no? Does this bicycle? Does this model of bicycle? Does it have it? Is it have or has? English just they confuse person anyhow. So we have private. Does it have or does it has? Anyone? But you understand what I'm trying to say. So does it has a gear or not? Or does it have a gear or not? I think it's have. I beg, don't just mind me. Does it have a gear or not? So we say bowling. And we say gear, bowling gear. Yes, sir. So is now, so what, anything we're going to assign inside is going to be true or false. Does it have or does it not have? Then how many tires does it has? Or how many? Okay, let's not use tires because tires are always two. Let us say how many bells does it have? How many bells does it have? Or how many baskets does the bicycle have? How many baskets? So we use int to count number of baskets. So let us say baskets, use capital letter since there are two different words. Basket count, okay. And these are our properties. So now we have created the properties of this bicycle. We have created a properties of, we're already modeling our bicycle. Now these are the properties that should be asked for when objects are being created from this bicycle. Do you understand? So now I've created the data members or the properties of the bicycle, the abstract properties of what? The bicycle. Okay, now the next thing that we have to, that we're going to teach is, okay, methods. Okay, yeah, methods. Okay, methods. Okay, let us treat methods. Okay, but before I treat methods, I can just, because I didn't even prepare a slide for constructor, there was a reason why. But a constructor, I've told you guys what constructors are, and for the meantime now we're going to make our constructors to be default. We're going to just create a default constructor. I will show you later how to create, like for your, when you're starting programming, sorry, you cannot just rush and say you want to create a big constructor, you understand, ahead, or a complicated one. Or just let's create a default constructor. Sometimes if you don't create it, your system can even create it for you. You understand? But I told you that it's advisable you always create a constructor, so that anytime you have an error, you will not be thinking of whether it came out from your constructor. Yeah, so for you to create a constructor, you know, I was saying that constructor is like your body, and your soul is the class. Your constructor is like your body, to show you that like it resembles your soul. Do you understand? It resembles your soul, but it's not exactly your soul. So the constructor of a bicycle resembles the bicycle class, but is not how to create the bicycle class, but it's not the bicycle class, but it resembles it. So the next thing now that we are going to write is constructor. So constructor, and what are we going to now do here? So to create a constructor, you have to have, okay, you have to have 1 hour is already reaching, and we may have to, 1 hour is already reaching, so we'll have to we'll soon end this class. Remember, this class is meant to be shorter, maybe 30 minutes, but because we are combining two classes together, it's getting this long. Okay, so constructors, the modifier, we have the modifier list. Okay, sorry, I have to put a comment here. So modifier list, this is the guide, modifier list. Then the next thing is the class. You write class there, you understand? And there's no, because that's this, why I put this class there is to show you that it's class you must write. And so then this is going to be the class name, like what to use. So for us, our class name there will be bicycle. Then you put this sign, and you put this, and so it's going to give an error, so we can't use this comment. We have to use this type of comments, the double comment or double line comment. Okay, so is this thing now, this thing is what I'm telling you. So this is the syntax of how you create constructors. The modifier is the class, then the class name, then you put this sign, this two bracket sign, then you now put this curly braces. So for us to create our own constructor, Now let's come out from the comments. So let's now create a constructor. So it's going to be modifier list. Constructors should be public. Please never make your constructors private. Constructors should be public. And the class, what's the class name? Bicycle. And you put your stuff, and like this is your default constructor. Do you understand? This, we're finished though. Now you have created your constructor. This is it. Is it called a default constructor? There's no need to add any other thing again. Okay, and so the next thing we're moving into now is, according to the slide, is methods. Okay, I think it's methods. Okay, methods. Yeah, methods. So now I don't know whether I should start defining what methods are again, because if in our former videos we have defined what methods are. Let me just give a brief this. Now methods are instructions that are being passed to your class or to your objects. They are instructions that are being passed to your class or to your objects. So I don't know if we treated how to pass a method to your class, how maybe to pass a method for your class or for your object to give or to assign an instruction. I'm very sure we treated that stuff on how we pass an object, so how we pass a method to your object for the object to execute an instruction. I'm very sure we did that stuff. And now we are now going to teach you how to create those objects, so how to create those methods that you're passing. Before we did not teach you the how to create the methods. We just said, if you are given this method, now pass it. This is the instruction now that you have got. Now pass it to this object for the object to obey, for the object to obey that instruction. But we did not teach you how to create an instruction by yourself. And it's not all instructions you can just write on your computer, because if you write any instruction that your computer does not know, maybe it was not created by that programmer, it marks as an error. It's like, what is this? What are you giving me to do? Why are you attaching these words to this class or to this object? What do you want the object to do? I don't know. I don't know of this instruction. I've not heard of it. So there's nothing I can do with this instruction. Do you understand? So now I'm going to teach people how to create a method, so that maybe other programmers can, when they're using your classes, for them to interact with your classes, they'll have to use the instructions you created, so that your classes, so once they use those instructions you created to do your classes, your class will understand, okay, this is what you are talking about. Okay, I'm going ahead to execute this instruction. Do you understand? Okay, that's by the way. Now your syntax for creating methods. The syntax for creating methods are modifiers, return type, method name, and parameters. Modifiers, return type, method name, and parameters. Okay, let's come out now. I'm going to create a new slide in your presence, and is a class. Where is my inserts? This. Now Okay, now return type. Remember I said in this method we have modifiers, we have return type, we have method name. Then this place is for the parameters. I'll still teach you what parameters are. Then I've highlighted it some time ago in the past. Then we have your curly bracket, then we have your statements. Now, first of all, these your statements are this. First of all, this is the syntax on how to create your methods. This stuff here is a syntax on how to create a method. Then this statement is the actual instruction that you're passing, what you want the computer or what you want the class to do, what you want the object to execute. That is what is meant to be in this statement. Okay, I've taught you guys what modifiers are. Method name, your method name can be anything you want. Yeah, in but in programming we you can make it anything, but is we have two common method names, the set method and the get method. Set method and the get method, and I'm going to still show you what it means. But your method name can be anything you want, any name you want to give it is not an error. But there's a reason why you that set method and that get method is also important, that you know it and you also use it. Is important, but it's important not at this level sha, but at the maybe when you want to go into Android or you want to go into web apps development. Okay, so that's by the way. So we have method names. I told you it could be anything. Then the but we have important ones to important method names. We have the return types. Now return types, which takes us to the next slide. Okay, so return types return types in in creating method. Return types, we have two different types. We have the void and we have the data type. We have the void and we have the data type. Void, as the name implies, void is like empty. You don't want the method to return anything. You just want it to obey this instruction and let it just be going. You understand? Just obey this instruction and let everything just be going. I don't want you to return anything for me. Then the second type of return type is data type. What you are telling now the method that if the computer finish obeying this instruction now that I want it to obey, the computer must return this thing. And what the computer is returning is going to be under a data type that you want it to return. I give an example. You can create a method and you tell the method to return int. You know int is a data type. So it means that no matter what instruction you write there in your method, even if you write English there, Obi is a boy. I want Obi, substring of Obi, or anything you're executing in that your statement. At the end of every rubbish you are writing there for the computer to perform, return for me a value. Now the value now should be an int value. You cannot tell it to return a value with decimal. It's going to the compiler itself is going to tick for you as red. So at the beginning of that method, you tell the computer, okay, this I want the computer to return something for me, and I want it to be of int value, or I want it to be of double value, I want it to be of string value, or I want it to be of a class that I created. Any class I create, I want the value to be of that class that's returning for me. Do you understand? That is what data type under return type is. And void, I told you, is empty. Just I don't want it to return anything for me. Just perform this method and let everything just be going. That is what I'm telling you. So we move over to our IDE, our Sublime Text, to write and declare methods. Still, if you don't understand what method is, or maybe where we have used methods, I will refer you back. I can refer you to day 7, or even at the beginning of this our slide. You can see here where methods are used. This here, my window dot set size 300 200 is a method. You are passing this set size method to my window, telling my window that what the interface is going to produce should be of this size. You're setting the title here of my window to my first program. So you're telling my window the whatever you're going to produce, this should be the title of it. Okay, I think I just have a call. Okay, just sorry for just somebody was being called on phone. Okay, so as we continue, then set visible. The window is going to produce the window that my window is going to, okay, the interface my window is going to produce, you want it to be visible. That is all what you are setting to. That's all that's the instructions you are passing to my window. Do you understand? Okay, so this is where methods are being used. Now we're going to create our own methods. We're going to create our own methods now. We're going to create our own method so that maybe any other programmer that is using our method or that is using our class can be able to use, like, he can be able to use what he wants to. He can be able to, from our class, he can be able to pick any method he likes, any method that we have created for him to use in his own program. And okay, from the look of things, I think time has already gone, and in the next video I'm going to show people how to create method. Okay, thank you very very much. Uh, my name is Shadow Crew under Connekt Academy. See you in the next video. Please continue to motivate yourself and continue to code. Coding is something very enjoyable. I pray you have the spirit and continue to be consistent. Please, if you do, you in the within the shortest time possible, you're actually going to regret it. Thank you very much.